Tip that ball out of bounds. Ball fake, corner three, got it. 5 straight. State into the lane, circling through, back out to Greene. Tries for another three, was knocked down, and he knocks down the tree. So he's got 8. Started to rack it up, most specifically from the line. Ty Greene with a runner in the paint, got it. So he's got an array of shots, and a nice 13-foot floater is good.
If you want to shoot lights out, this is the interview you want to watch. From a scrawny kid from Bearden High School in Knoxville, Tennessee, to the Lou Henson Player of the Year, to the Atlantic Sun Player of the Year, to getting drafted in NBA Development League, this is the player you want to listen to. Make sure you stick around and watch this entire interview. So without further ado, allow me to introduce my mans in them, Ty Greene.
Hoop loudy.
A little bit about your high school and how it was a basketball environment. Did that give you confidence that Division I basketball was definitely obtainable?
It did. The way our coach pushed us in practice from an effort standpoint and also from a defensive standpoint, we knew going to college that we were going to be ready. I played alongside a few D1 players, and all of us, when we got to college, we were ready to go right off the bat, defensively, effort-wise. And the other influence that was my dad, just instilling in me, hey, when you get to campus, you got to go to work. So my high school coach and my dad were the 2 biggest factors in preparing me for college.
What do you feel like they did in particular, whether it be your dad or your school, the setup? What was it in particular that you felt like gave you the edge of thinking that you can play at Division I level?
I would say the biggest aspect is probably mental toughness. You know, what happens when a lot of players get to college, they experience more adversity than they ever did in high school. They experience better players who are challenging them in practice more than they ever have been, and challenging them in games. And in a lot of cases, coaches who are demanding more of them on and off the court. So that mental toughness that was instilled in me through my coach and my dad, to be able to push through, you know, adversity, whether it's on the court or whether, you know, it's off the court. I think that was key for me to be able to push through physically and mentally.
A lot of times guys just dream that they'll be in Division I because, I don't know, they've seen it off TV or whatnot, but they fail to realize the academic rigor that goes into that. Talk us a little bit through as far as the academic discipline that you set in high school that helped you transfer over to a 4-year university.
You know, my parents instilled in me, like, hey, you got to have the grades if you want to play. So they kind of set that foundation. And I tried to drive myself academically as well as athletically. Now, I will admit to you, I was not that kind of kid who was up 7 hours a night. I would rather be in the gym. However, I always got my schoolwork done. I always put in time studying to prepare for tests. And when you get to college, it just increases. So, you know, people say they want this, you know, this athlete life in college. Well, that's going to come with a lot of demands, and a lot of that is academically. So you have to prioritize. And that's what I tried to do in college. I made good grades. I was able to make the dean's list, some academic all, Atlantic Sun type stuff. But at the end of the day, it's all about priorities, and you have to prioritize your time when you get to college, or else you won't last long.
Tell us a little bit about the advice you would give us both on the court and off that will help us make that transition from high school to college.
Hard work. That's cliche, but the reality is you go from being the man in your high school to now everybody at college at any level was the man or the woman. So you have to work even harder in the weight room, on your body. You have to work on the court or the field, depending on what sport you play. And you have to find things to separate yourself. You know, it comes down to hard work, but also working smart, you know, for basketball players, right? Don't go get in the gym for an hour, work on your dunks for 30 minutes, and then shoot a few threes and some half-court shots and think you just got a workout in, right? So it's about working hard, but at the same time working smart. Yeah. And that's going to your coach is saying, hey, coach, what do you want me to work on type of situation. So hard work and then working smart.
Okay. Ty, as I did research on you, man, I've scoured the net on interviews and stats and articles and whatnot, and one thing that was apparent to me is your shooting ability. Now, coming from my childhood, I was a horrendous shooter. I had the strap, the elbow this and the plate and all that stuff to try to help my shot. What were some things that you used or some help that you received to groove your shot the way it is now?
Starting at a young age, worked on fundamentals. And real simple, it's, flicking the wrist, hand in the cookie jar, elbow in, shooting with your legs, being on balance, those type of things. And then, there's no secret formula to being a shooter. People are not born shooters. As good as Steph Curry is, in my opinion, the greatest shooter who's ever lived, he did not come out of the womb shooting the ball in the bucket. Right? It's hours and hours and hours of reps. And that is how you become a shooter, right? You have to get the fundamentals down where you need them. And then once you have your fundamentals, it's all about reps. It's all about getting up shots. And like we said, working hard, working smart. So now we're getting off shots at game speed, right? We're not just taking our time shooting. Whereas in the game, we're rushed. So get the fundamentals down, get the repetitions, and get off game shots at game speed.
Ty, a lot of guys rant and rave about how many hours they put in the gym. Seeing your shot and its accuracy, how much time consistently were you putting in the gym as far as grooving your shot?
Every day outside of my team workout, I would put in about an hour and a half a night. And that was typically 6 days a week on my own, an hour and a half at least. Sometimes it would stretch it to 2 hours. And that typically looked like getting up 300 to 400 shots a day.
Okay. Does it really matter the form? And I ask that question because you have guys like you mentioned with Steph Curry, or whether it be a Ray Allen or yourself, that has great fundamental forms. There's no wasted movement, and it looks nice. But then you have someone like Alonzo Ball that brings the ball on the opposite side in which he shoots it, and he has some accuracy. And people don't think about this, but I think that I will put Kevin Durant in that same category as far as he brings the ball on the opposite side. When he brings it up his shot chamber, he seems like he brings it up on the opposite side. So my question to you is does form really matter, or is it just putting in enough time in the gym and just sticking with the form you have and continue to groove and perfect that shot?
I think it's both. You're right in the fact that some people, their natural shot is a little bit different, like Alonzo Ball is a great example. That dude's shot, honestly, is ugly, but he can stroke it. 40%-ish shooter from three. So I do like what you said. You might have different form, but if you put in the reps and get them up, you can be successful. My wife was a Division I basketball player, Atlantic Sun Player of the Year, the same year I was, actually.
Oh, wow.
She is a better shooter than me, and a lot of people think that's crazy, but it's true. She had a different type of form, but that thing was funny. So I like what you said, because at the end of the day, it is about reps. Now, if somebody's elbow is way out and it's throwing off their shot, okay, we might tweak it coming in, but I think everybody has their natural shooting motion. So it's really about perfecting that. And there are some form things, like, as for instance, if somebody isn't flicking their wrist the way they need to, that can be adjusted. But at the end of the day, shooting is about reps, and then a couple things can be cleaned up off the natural shooting motion.
Sure. Anybody that can pull up on a doggone fast break and shoot a three like it's a doggone layup, like I've seen in many of your clips, I have to listen to them. So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Tell us a little bit about your recruiting process. How was that process in picking the school that you chose, and why did you end up choosing that school?
I was actually committed to a school called Tulane once upon a time. I was in the Conference USA.
Louisiana.
Pretty big offer for a kid, coming out of Knoxville.
Yeah.
Knoxville has produced some Division I players, but it is, it's a big deal when one. So, long story short, I was committed. They loved me. They ended up going behind my back and taking somebody in my spot who was essentially, in their eyes, the second player. So my recruitment had to start over at square one. And when Upstate started evaluating me and the offer, I took a visit. And at that point, it was all about fit. And you want to go somewhere that you're and I would give that advice. You want to go somewhere that they make you a priority, and that when you get on campus, you gel with the coaches. You obviously want to have the academic environment that you want, because coaches come and go. But if you can find coaches who care about you, and for me, my coaches at Upstate were strong Christians, and that was what I was looking for in men who had those values. Because the coaching profession, as I'm sure you're aware, not as I guess faith-based in many of them.
Sure.
They don't treat their players. Some of them treat their players pretty rough. So I found the right fit for me academically and with my coaches. I knew that they cared about my well-being as a person more so than player.
Oh, wow. What was your major when you got to University of South Carolina Upstate?
Initially, it was exercise science, and I was a very, very dedicated basketball player. I was a dedicated student, but basketball was where I was really, really going to get after it. And my freshman year, I took all my core classes, your Englishes, your maths, etc. So going into my sophomore year, when I was an exercise science major, I realized very quickly that all of the science classes that I was going to have to do were not going to be suitable for me, and the fact that I did not feel like I was ready to study 3-4 hours every night. I wanted to be in the gym. So at that point, I changed my major to political science. I was interested in government and how it worked, etc. So I ended up changing my major, but I did it early enough to where it didn't hurt me. So I finished my degree as a political science major.
Okay. How was it juggling basketball and school? And what kind of advice would you give for those that are trying to do that same thing?
The biggest advice is time management. As an athlete, you obviously have your sport, you're going to have your social life, you're going to have your life, and you also you have to eat. As athletes, that's very important. Sometimes people laugh, but eating is time consuming. Whether you're going to the cafeteria for 3 or 4 meals a day, or whether you're dedicated and you want to cook on your own, like that stuff takes time. And you talk about over the course of the day, that adds up to where now you've spent 2 hours of your day eating, whether you prepare your food or go somewhere to get it. So when you have to balance all of those things, it can be challenging. But the biggest thing is you have to put your priorities. For me, my priorities were my faith was 1, my academics 2, basketball was 3, and social life was typically 4. Now, sometimes that would change. 2, 3, and 4 would sometimes change depending on the day. But you have your priorities and you know what you have to get done every day, and you just got to find a way to do it. Sometimes that means waking up early. Sometimes that means staying up late to study for a test. So that's all part of growing up and learning how to be a college athlete.
Yeah. Ty, a lot of people use AAU to get recognition or to find a school as far as college is concerned. Did you ever play AAU basketball?
I was playing baseball during the summers growing up through high school. I did not know which sport I wanted to play or that God was leading me to play. I played one AAU basketball tournament going into my senior year, and that was about enough for me. It is a little bit more one-on-one oriented. My game is more team-oriented in terms of getting my points in the flow of the offense. So I did one AAU tournament and didn't love it, so kept playing baseball.
Do you buy into the idea of some of these players saying, okay, I can never get recruited because I didn't play AAU, so my coach is not sending out film, I don't play AAU, therefore I can't play college basketball. Do you buy that?
No, I don't buy that. If you're a player, the coaches will find you. If your coach will not send out film of you for whatever reason, all these coaches' emails are very acceptable, and you can put your film right in their inbox. So if you cannot find an AAU program that's going to utilize your skill set in a team-oriented way, there's no sense in going out there and, just playing one-on-one ball that may not suit your game. If you're a player, the coaches will find you.
There are a lot of kids come from high school, and what they depict of college being is what they've seen on TV, what they've seen in the movies. So they get here and they feel like I have to live this college experience. For me, for me, that drives me crazy because everybody's college experience is different. My college experience when I was in college was I played basketball, went to school, and I like fishing. So when I got a chance to go fish, like that was my college experience. It wasn't, getting wasted, getting high. It wasn't all those things. It looked a lot different, and that's not shown in the movies. Talk to us a little bit about what your college experience was like and what guys and girls can expect going to college.
My college experience, I tell people this all the time. I had two goals going to college. I wanted to glorify and honor Jesus Christ, and I wanted to be a good basketball player. And I worked as hard as I could to try and do both those things. And at the end of the day, I think in college, a lot of times people go one of two routes. They go down a route filled with partying, and they think that's what they have to do to be accepted. Or you have those people who kind of go in and take care of their business. They still have fun in their own way, but like you said, that doesn't mean they're going out getting wasted and getting high and just seeing how many people they can hook up with. You can still have a fun college experience with all that stuff that I personally find meaningless and empty. But for those students out there who want to go the route of college where, hey, they don't get into that stuff, I'm here to tell you it can be done, and you can have a good time in college without going down that route.
Todd, man, we appreciate you taking the time out and doing an interview with us, man. You gave us a lot of good gems as far as what we can apply, making that transition from high school to college, and also giving some help for those that are actually in college already, things that they can do to navigate and get the best both on the court and off, man. Before I let you go, I want to ask you if you have any advice, any quotes that you can give us as we get out of here.
My quote is, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. What that means to me is in college, when you're playing sports, tough times are going to come. But becoming a man or a woman is how you respond to those challenges and find the people who are going to lift you up in college, not drag you down. So my guys at Hoop Law Day, y'all keep it up, keep grinding, and let me know if you need anything.